Wait up. We. Hi and welcome back. So I have started playing Grandia 3 a few days ago. I am now 9 hours into the game and I am, spoilers alert, whatever, I'm at the point where Yuki, the main character, basically flies off with Alfina to go his separate way. And I haven't really seen that much of the storyline because I think if you have played Grandia 3, you may think, well, Claude, isn't it really early in the game? Why are you 9 hours into it? Well, I kind of grinded and I kind of like the battle system is absolutely fantastic. By the way, just like every Grandia game, I have played them all, especially part 2 I played as a kid. Part 1 I played 2 or 3 years ago on PlayStation 1. That was a fantastic experience of sort of Justin, coming of age storyline. And with Grandia 3, it's kind of the same thing, right? Because the entire time you are playing with Yuki and his mother, Miranda, and he actually calls her Miranda instead of mom. And you play with Elfina, that's sort of the female character that has to go somewhere, and Yuki is like, I will get you to that city, to that place in the world, and he is sort of wanting to be the best plane pilot in the world. That is sort of the storyline as of right now. There are things happening, but the story hasn't really picked up yet. But I do want to mention, this sounds really weird. You're basically playing for a couple of hours with that party. You do get another party member. He's a boat captain. And you sort of play the game and you kind of see I would say, relationship with Yuki and Miranda, his mom, being sort of like, it's kind of like people in the game even say or think that they are brother and sister instead of mom and child, right? The child really wants to sort of go out into the world, but mom is really trying to hold on to his son and to not let him go. And I don't know why, don't hate me, but the part where basically Yuki says, I'm going, and the mom says, well, I am not going. I'm staying where I am right now. And it's actually really good. It's done in a very emotional way, and I don't know why, but in my mind, I don't know, I felt a little bit emotional, and I felt like, man, he's going on a grand adventure. He's going to, discover new places, find new friends and hardships, and also times of joy. But without his mom, and he is 16, so it's really being said in the game, and he's been with his mom for 16 years. There is no dad, at least not in the storyline as of right now. And so he basically gets a plane. He gets on his little plane, and he flies off, and you see mom running behind Yuki, crying and calling his name. And then he basically flies back and says, Mom. And I don't know why. I honestly do not know why. It's really weird, but I found that a extremely good, very emotional scene in the game where the main character, who has been saying Miranda 16 years, finally says mom and goes on its way to become an adult, or exploring the world as his dream is. So I am actually really excited to see how the storyline will progress. It's kind of the same with Grandia 1, where Justin is still a little kid, and at the end of the game, you have seen him grow, right? The battle system is absolutely fantastic, just like Grandia 1, Grandia 2, and now Grandia 3. This may be even a better battle system. It's really fast-paced, fluid, it's dynamic. It is, sometimes I look at these battle systems and think, this is what turn-based RPGs should have evolved to. Why are, even to this day, certain turn-based RPGs very clunky or very slow when you already have such an amazing battle system in, for example, Grandia? But that being aside, the battle system is fantastic. The game really reminds me of Final Fantasy X, and I don't know why. The way Yuki walks or runs, the way the environment looks, because the game is a looker. The game looks really good for the PS2. Now I am playing it on with a PS2 to HDMI 8 euro dongle, and it is a little bit pixelated. So yesterday I actually tried it on my CRTV, and okay, the lines are a bit sharper. I agree, but the difference isn't really that big. You still see a lot of, how do you call it, edges, a lot of anti-aliasing that the PS2 was notorious of. And I'm like, well, I would rather have a little bit more pixelated screen, but a much larger screen than going on my really small CRTV. So, for a $8 or $10 a PS2 to HDMI is literally how it's called. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Um, so graphically, still the game looks really good. It really reminds me of Final Fantasy X in a good way. Also, how sort of the dungeons are laid out. Even sort of the map is in blue, where Final Fantasy X, I think it has here or here. In Grandia 3, you have the map screen here, and it's kind of the same way, really. Just with you see where you're going, and you have a map with branching path lines, and almost always, not literally, but almost always, there is something worthwhile to get. Because you get weapons, armors, etc. in dungeons. And I've only, as I said in the beginning of the game, I've only been to the sort of first real town or city, and you cannot really sort of buy a lot of stuff. You get gear out of dungeons, so going to different pathways actually is worthwhile, at least as of right now that I've played the game. Music wise, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. However, I am still waiting on that's a track. You know what I mean? That soundtrack, and then you're stopping the game and you're listening to it, and you're like, damn, that's a really cool soundtrack. For example, with Wild Arms 3, that to me was Basker Village. I love the soundtrack. It's still in my mind, and I still listen to it. And of course, Final Fantasy has a shit ton of amazing soundtracks, but the music is really sort of, you could say, standard RPG music. So I'm waiting for that track that's going to really pull me in, and then I will say like, damn, man, this soundtrack is so good. But it's a good soundtrack. It is really good. So overall, I have read a lot of reviews of Grandia 3. I have seen quite a few video reviews, and some people really like it. Some people sort of against Grandia 2 and one dislike it. I think that most gamers say the game isn't that long, and there's nothing really to do outside of the main story. Now, I'm an idiot. My memory is very small. I apologize, but Grandia 1 and 2 also didn't really have much to do. Grandia 1 was also just the storyline. And Grandia 2, I actually remember as a kid being sort of disappointed that not only could you not backtrack, and there was no world map like the older days where you actually walk on the world, right? There was nothing really else to do besides the storyline. But these games are pretty long. I think Final Fantasy Grandia 1 was like 60 hours. Grandia 2 was probably also in that same time frame. It's been a very long time since I played Grandia 2 up until finished. I was starting it a few years back. I really need to beat the game too, but they say this game is like 25 or 30 hours. And to be really honest, it kind of depends. If the game is absolutely fantastic and I'm like, no, I don't want it to end, it sucks. But if it's just a good game, and if I feel like, okay, it's time to end, 25, 30 hours is all right. It's pretty good. I don't need every RPG to be 100 hours adventure. So I am having a blast playing through Grandia 3. As I mentioned in a few of my videos, this was by far sort of the game that I really wanted to play in terms of American exclusives, and I'm having a blast. It's a really fun game. And who knows, maybe I'll beat it next week and go and play something else. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And like always, you're gonna see me next time.